Surprise! I'm pregnant! Hey guys, welcome to my first pregnancy video. This is a huge reason on why there have been random videos and random video postings, lack of videos. The first trimester was it's just a little rough. Like, it wasn't horrendous. I know people experience worse, but it's just rough. And I told myself, this is the last time I'm going to be pregnant for the first time. So I may have taken advantage of that, like, feeling of like not feeling great and really just like taking time to just be in the moment of not feeling good and not doing anything. So yes, first pregnancy video. I have dropped hints here and there in a few videos and the last few beauty videos that something was kind of happening, and so this may be a surprise or it may not be a surprise to you. If you're someone who's in tune, and you could tell I was out of breath in all my videos and just tired and spacey. So yeah, so I am 14 weeks. Let me check. I'm pretty sure I'm 14 weeks. I have huge pregnancy brain. Okay, yeah. I'm 14 weeks in 3 days, 4 days, somewhere around there. One app says I'm 14 weeks on Tuesday, and another app says I'm 14 weeks on Wednesdays. So I'm pretty sure I am technically a week change on Tuesday. So does that make sense? Like, I would be 15 weeks next Tuesday. Because my due date is actually on a Tuesday, so I'm kind of assuming that my week change is on Tuesdays. So yes, I am 14 weeks, so I will be due at the end of August, so I'm going to be pregnant all summer long. This is going to be so much fun. The less clothing, the better. So I am due August 27th is my due date, and I've had 2 ultrasounds and I've been measuring right on time. So yeah, maybe I'll have a baby on the due date, or maybe I'll have a baby late, or maybe early. So Alex and I do know what the gender is, and I'm gonna try and not reveal it too much in this video. I would like to do a gender reveal video after this. I'm not going to make like a huge deal out of it. I'm not throwing a gender reveal party. A couple people already know what the gender is. But I kind of want to just make it fun and cute and all that kind of stuff. I am dropping just a few small hints in this video of what the gender could be. If you're someone who's really intuitive, or I don't know, these may be obvious hints of what the gender is. Alex and I pretty much was expecting what the gender is from the very beginning. When we saw what it was, we were like, yeah, we saw that coming. So yeah, very exciting, and I have been keeping this secret for a really long time. I've known I've been pregnant since December 16th, and had my first ultrasound in January. It's now March. So I've been keeping this secret for 2 months, almost 3 months. So I'm about 4 months along. So no, maybe I've been keeping a secret for about 4 months. I don't know. I can't do math. But yeah, we'll talk about some symptoms and kind of how I possibly knew before I even took the pregnancy test. So I'll probably talk about that first. So Alex and I were actively trying to get pregnant. We're all adults here, and these videos are going to be medically informative, I think. I want to try and be as forward with you guys about some symptoms that I have, because, you know, if someone is in the same weeks, trimester, months with me, however you want to go by, maybe you're having some of these symptoms and you're wondering, is it normal or not normal? Or I honestly don't know what is normal and not normal. I've never been pregnant before until now. So, but you know, there are some things that are happening that I look up, and a lot of it's like, yeah, that's a pretty normal pregnancy symptom. So anyway, backtracking to how I kind of knew before I took the test, but I was on a birth control that was 3 months, and then you would have your periods. So I would take the birth control. It was a pill, the pills, and you would take the pill packets all the way 3 months, and then you would have a period. So I was on that type of birth control, and my mom was someone who was on birth control, went off birth control, and got pregnant within like that second. Basically, she's someone who could get pregnant super easy. So that's kind of what I was expecting, and when it didn't happen the very first time, I was really sad and really disappointed, and I was like, man, why didn't it work? Because I felt like I did everything right. I had like an ovulation tracker and all these type of things. So I was like really putting pressure on myself. But then I kind of did some research in my birth control, and I realized that the birth control I was on I pretty much had the Great Wall of China in my uterus, and it came crashing down when I had my first period. And I remember being in Walmart looking at the Depends thinking, this actually might be a good idea right now. I was bleeding a ton. And I know your first period being off birth control is usually pretty gruesome, typically. And those periods on that birth control were like, sometimes I was like, is this a period? And then sometimes I was like, yeah, this is a period. So that very first one was pretty gruesome. And I really felt like my body was just like cleansing. Like it was just like, okay, we're going to do this. All right, let's get all this out and then we're going to do this. So even though I was disappointed, I was kind of like, well, that's okay. You know, it wasn't my time, and my body has to get everything out, and it's okay. It's doing what it needs to do. So then, second try, we got pregnant, and I took the test 3 days before my missed period just because the last time I waited until the day of my period, and then I ended up spotting a day early and then having a full-blown period the next day. So I kind of wanted to know what I was going to be expecting that week. So I was like, well, we'll take a test, and if it's negative, then I'll know to be expecting my period. So that way I just felt like I wouldn't be as heartbroken. I'm just like someone who really likes to know what's coming next. So I took the test on a Sunday, and I took it in the morning, and I did a digital pregnancy test because I'm not one of those people that wants to deal with the lines and the control line and figuring out which line is which, because I did one of those tests a really long time ago, and Alex and I thought I was pregnant, and it wouldn't have been a planned pregnancy, but it turns out I wasn't pregnant. So that was the control line test, kind of left a yucky feeling in my mouth because we had like that moment of like, oh my gosh. And then when we went to the doctor's office, they're like, no, I think you just read a false positive, or the control line just wasn't correct. I don't know what happened, but it looked positive. So we just decided to do digital, and we're gonna see positive or negative. So yeah, I'm a digital test person. I don't like being like, well, is it? I don't know. But anyway, took it in the morning and shoved it back in the box because I didn't want to see it. And Alex was like, what are you doing? And I said, we're just going to see what it says. And he was like, okay, well, I have to go to the bathroom, so don't look at it. And I said, okay, you have 5 minutes. And he came back, and the timer went off, and we looked at it, and it said pregnant. And it was like, I'm emotional too. It was like, it was just crazy. And I was crying, and then I told Alex, I was like, you're gonna be a dad. And he lost it. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is my life. I'm an emotional person, and this has been heightened by like 20 gazillion. So yeah, he's just, and I've never, look at this wonky hair. I've seen him cry a few times, but I've never seen him cry like that. And I was like, it kind of took me back for a minute, and I was like, are we okay? Is it okay? Are you happy? Are you sad? Scared? All of it? Because I am. And he was just like, I'm so happy. And, you know, he was ecstatic. So he was just, I don't know, maybe he was just having those pregnancy symptoms with me. So what kind of gave me, my biggest red flag was that I was out of breath. And even though I didn't get pregnant the first time, that was my biggest red flag, and I was just kind of pushing that off to the side. And I was like, you know, Kate, you're just reading too much into it. You do live on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex, and this is but I remember coming up the stairs and sitting down, and I felt like I ran 50 billion miles. And I was like, I don't normally do this, so this is a little weird. So I think that was my biggest red flag and my biggest kind of like confident booster of this is happening. Turned down the white balance a little bit, so maybe that's a little better. So yeah, that was my biggest confident booster. And then I was extremely, extremely thirsty. And I never knew that was a pregnancy symptom until towards right before I took the test, and someone was like, I knew I was pregnant because I was chugging water like I couldn't get enough water. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a symptom. And I was doing that. And then Alex was like, you know, I had told him, I said, gosh, I'm just so thirsty. And he was like, maybe you're dehydrated. And I said, today I learned that that's a pregnancy symptom. and he was like, well, don't get your hopes up, you know. So I was like, I know, but it's just weird. And then another thing, you know, now that I think back, that should have kind of been a red flag for me were my eating habits. I was like a garbage disposal. I couldn't get enough. And I really wanted Mexican food. I craved Mexican food. Anytime Alex would be like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, Mexican. I would love some Mexican food right now. We just had Mexican food last night, but I don't care. I would love some more. So those were kind of the other things that, now that I look back, should have been kind of like a, like, hey, hello, something's going on. So, but yeah, I was trying not to read too much into it, because the very first time I read way too much into my symptoms, and then I was disappointed. So I was kind of just like, just pushing things off to the side. As I'm chugging 24 ounces of water in like 10 minutes. So yeah, that's how I kind of knew. And then pregnancy symptoms kicked in. They were kind of always a little bit there. I was extremely tired. That started to kind of kick in, and I'm trying to think if I was extremely tired before I knew. Yeah, I was, because I remember I was at one of my nanny jobs, and he was just running around the house being crazy, and I was just like, I'm so tired, I can't even like tell him like, don't do that. So he just did it. And nobody got hurt, so it's all good. So yeah, I was pretty tired. Yeah, that should have been another kind of like but yeah, it's the exhaustion really started kicking in around probably when I was about 6 weeks, 5 weeks. I'm thinking I was about 4 weeks when I took the test, and then so probably the symptoms really started kicking up at about the 6-week mark. And then the morning sickness or nausea, because honestly it's never, it's kind of dumb when people are like, do you have morning sickness? And I'm like, it's like all day sickness or evening sickness. I had, in the mornings, it was very rare that I would get sick, but it was in the middle of the day or in the evening is when I would get sick. So that kicked in at about 7 weeks, and it was never consistent. The only thing that I kind of noticed that was a consistent type thing that kept triggering it was eating salads. So I told Alex, I said, this is your child to the T, because he is not a vegetable person or a salad person. He loves starches and carbs and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm the opposite. I love salads. I love eating salads. I enjoyed my salads when I ate them, but they always just came back up. Even if they were like fully digested, like even though I was puking up or just dry heaving, every single time I ate a salad, I would vomit. So this little baby is just like its daddy. And so, yeah, that was kind of the only thing that I've noticed that really kind of triggered it. And otherwise, it wasn't too bad. The one time that it was really bad, I think the week that it was the worst was probably about 8 weeks to 9 weeks. That's when it really kind of kicked in, and I know that's usually when it's the worst for most women, because that's when the umbilical cord takes over or something along those lines. Something starts happening during those weeks, and so it tends to kick up your nausea a little bit. And I went to the OB at 8 weeks, and I told her, I think, and she was like, well, hold on to your pants because you're just getting started. So I was like, great, awesome, fun. So yeah, what else? Oh, I had a UTI, and my very first appointment, I would have thought they told me that I had a UTI, because it's just hard to tell when you're pregnant and you're peeing a lot, and then, sometimes you pee a ton, and then sometimes it's a little trickle. So I was kind of expecting them to tell me at my 8-week appointment that I had one, but they didn't say anything. And another really huge pregnancy symptom that I have, and this is going to be very, very blunt, very maybe TMI for some people, but we're going to say it. I have a ton of vaginal discharge. And I've always, before going on the birth control that I was on for 3 months straight, I've always kind of been a heavy discharge person, really heavy discharge, vaginal discharge person. And then it decreased when I went on the birth control that would go 3 months straight, because it would actually decrease your vaginal discharge, which is why I didn't get pregnant the first time, I think. So yeah, it's a symptom, and it's a symptom that I have. And they told me that at that first appointment, the urine sample I gave them got contaminated with vaginal discharge, and I did let them know. I'm like, there's a lot, because they test you for sexually transmitted diseases and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, do you have vaginal discharge? And I said, yeah, there's a ton right now. And so, I'm like, but it's not abnormal. It's kind of like, I kind of feel like I'm back in my teenage years before birth control, where I was always like, geez, is this normal? Like, am I just like a really heavy discharge person? So, yeah, so everything came back fine. No transmitted diseases or anything like that. I'm just a heavy discharge person, and I think pregnancy amplified it. So I have quite a bit of that, and I have sore breasts, very sore breasts. They have gotten bigger. I always tell Alex, I was like, gosh, I have my dream boobs, but I really don't feel good, so I kind of don't want you to touch me right now. So I feel bad, but it's okay. What else? I did have some swelling in the beginning, the very beginning, about 6 weeks, 5 weeks. before my doctor's appointment, I did have a little swelling, but I was eating salty foods because I was craving salty foods, craving Mexican food. I was craving pickles, which is like such a typical pregnancy craving, but I was craving the salt and vinegar portion of it. So I would stand with the fridge open eating a whole jar of pickles. So yeah, salty foods, and I'm pretty sure that's what accounted for my swelling. And then I noticed as soon as I found out I was pregnant, my thirst kind of decreased a little, which I thought was a little strange, but it did decrease a tiny bit. And so I probably wasn't really hydrating like I should have been. The amount of water, I have to sneeze. So the amount of water intake that a pregnant woman has to take is like crazy. I never reached the goal. I think I've reached the goal once, and I try really hard because at my last appointment, when they diagnosed me with the UTI, they were like, "You're really, really dehydrated, and that's not good." And I was like, "Okay." So I was scolded a little bit for being dehydrated, and so I've really been trying really hard to be better about that, because I know it's good for the baby and me, and I see a difference when I am well hydrated. I have a little bit more energy, and I notice the whites of my eyes are whiter. I don't know if that's a thing, but I've noticed that they've been like really nice and bright and white. So yeah, what else? I feel like I have pregnancy brain. I guess I can show you guys my bump. I have been taking weekly bump pictures. I am not going to do weekly pregnancy videos just because some weeks they're still the same. And I don't want it to be like boring or repetitive or anything like that. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of fill some videos, and I would ideally like to post 3 times a week. So I'm thinking my schedule will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which I know those are like 3 back-to-back days, but that's the only schedule I can kind of think of that may work best for me at this time. And so anyway, I'm thinking Wednesdays will be like mommy related videos, so whether that's a pregnancy update or a haul or maybe just even a simple vlog type thing. So I think I would like to do pregnancy updates once a month. I'm thinking maybe once a month on the due date or around the due date, so maybe the 20th of each month or so, somewhere around there, or the last Wednesday in each month. Maybe I'll do that. I might do that actually, because I think that might be kind of hard. I don't know. I'll figure something out, but I just plan on doing monthly updates just because I think weekly updates just get a little repetitive, and you know, sometimes it's just the same. It's like, yeah, I'm still pregnant and I still feel like crap. So yeah, but I am technically in my 2nd trimester. Today I do feel a little nauseous. I don't know why. It's never consistent. I just sometimes feel like yucky. Just feel like poo-poo. So yeah, I'll show you my bump, and it feels pretty big. Sometimes it gets bigger at night after I've gone a whole day. Sometimes it's pretty big at the end of the week. Today is Friday, and usually by Fridays I'm pretty tired and done with everything. So yeah, I'll show you my bump. Alright, so this is a maternity type hoodie. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell a bump when you have patterns on, especially when you're super early. I'm not like crazy early. I'm actually pretty, I feel like I'm really far along. I feel like I'm like halfway there. So yeah, there it is, with my tank top. I feel like baby sits really high up. Oh, another symptom I have, constipation. Yeah, I think that one's dwindling a little bit. But that has been and heartburn. See, pregnancy brain, guys. I can't think. The heartburn has not dwindled. I have heartburn every single day of my life. So this kid better have some hair or I'm going to be really upset. But yeah, constipation. So we're all adults here. So we'll just talk about it. So yeah, there it is. And here it is with my shirt. Look, I'm still out of breath. Plus I'm a little stuffy. So here it is from the front. You can't really tell too much, but you can kind of see it. So yeah, here's the little baby. So another thing I kind of forgot to mention is I did do genetic testing and all that stuff for chromosomal defects and chromosomal defects. And just because of my age, I was in a low, what am I trying to say? A low risk anyway, but I'm someone who likes to know. I like to know what to expect. So we went ahead and did blood work, and they usually do the ultrasound anyway just to look for Down syndrome and stuff like that. And everything came back low. We got the gender, and we're really excited. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too all over the place. I'm an all over the place person to begin with, so this is just amplifying it. So hold on to your pants. It's gonna get worse. So yeah, hopefully the next video will be me revealing the gender, because we've been referring to the baby as wolf cub or to its gender, to its name. We have its name picked out. I'm not sure if I'm going to reveal its name until they're born. See, it's really hard for me not to say the gender, just because it was really hard to pick out the name, and I don't want anyone else to have that name. I'm sure people do, but I don't know, just being a teacher, a lot of names are tainted. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, this is a new addition to my channel, being a mommy, and I've always wanted to do, I'm gonna get emotional again. I've always wanted to do mommy vlogs and stuff like that, so I'm just really excited and really happy that that this is happening. I've always wanted to be a mom, so I've always pictured myself as being a mommy. So anyway, I'm gonna go before I completely lose it, and yeah, give this video a thumbs up, a like, comment down below if you're pregnant with me, or you know, if you have been pregnant before, or if you've never been pregnant before, or whatever you want to tell me. As always, live life in full bloom, and I will see you guys later. Bye.